What's up, YouTube universe? Welcome to my channel, Bayou Booty, Louisiana Treasures. Along with the topic of this video that you saw in the description, what not to do when you start reselling, I'm also going to be using this video as an introduction video to my channel. I'm a new YouTuber. I sell on Etsy and eBay. So this channel is going to be a channel where I can draw people from my stores that are interested in maybe seeing inventory before it gets listed, or just other inventory that's not listed yet. And also, if you're a reseller out there, if you're someone who wants to get started reselling, you're just interested in you kind of want to know a little bit more about it, or someone who you've already been reselling for a while, your operation's very big, you're having a lot of success. Hopefully, if you're in that category, or you're someone who is interested in reselling, or someone who maybe just has things around your house that you've always heard, hey, if you have clothes or whatever, things laying around your house, and you can always put them online and get some money out of them. You're not maybe interested in going out and sourcing, always accumulating more items to sell, but just maybe selling stuff around your house, and you're curious as to how that works. All those things, whether you're new to reselling, already an established reseller, or interested in getting started, like I said, selling things around your house, the whole group, I hope that you can watch these videos and get something out of it. I understand if you've been doing it for a while that you may think, well, you have nothing to teach me. I know more than you. My operation's way bigger than yours. I'm a full-time reseller, so what can I learn from a part-time reseller? Well, I'm a big proponent, always have been, of you can learn something from everyone. Doesn't matter what level you're at or they're at, and whatever endeavor it is you're doing. So there may be something you see or hear that I do that, hey, I like that. I may try that, make things a little easier. Also, just to kind of lay this out there, I know if you are already a reseller and you've been doing this for a while, you may see things and go, hey, you need to be doing this. You need this. You need to buy this. It'll expedite a lot of the things you're doing. I do understand that, and I've watched a lot of reseller videos. Like when I first got started, I kind of watched YouTube videos. I didn't know really how to get started, so I just watched other resellers, and I've learned a lot along the way. Some of the things that you may be saying, hey, you need this or you need that. The fact that I don't have it is not a matter of me not wanting to use it or not wanting to incorporate it into what I'm doing. It's a matter of my goal for this. This is part-time for me, so I'm not going to be doing this every day, all day long, or it's going to be around my primary career, and when I have time, nights and weekends, when I can get to it. I do want to grow it, and when I say that I'm just part-time, it's not that I don't want to grow it. My goal is to grow and eventually expand and do other things with it, but I want it to grow itself. So I don't want to go out and put myself in debt and spend a bunch of money on a lot of things. I understand there's a lot of things I could use, and they're on my list. I mean, I've accumulated since I've started a few things that I need. There's a lot more stuff that I need. And the other side of it is I'm just in a season right now in my life where I just can't afford to go and spend money in this endeavor. I need this endeavor to, as it grows, to grow itself. Money comes in, I can use that money, not only to go sourcing or to go accumulate more items to sell, but also buy some of the things that I need. The things that are going to help the operation, expedite things. As you can see behind me, my staging area is just things that I already had. Tables, shelves that I get my hands on for free. I understand, like when you watch some of those videos, someone has a warehouse or like a huge shed or some kind of storage area, and they have those metal, like racks, and those are awesome. Right now, I'm not in a place where I can actually get some of those. In the future, I would. Like I said, as I grow with the money that I make, I would love to buy some of those. And, it's also about room for me. Again, I don't have a huge warehouse. I don't have a warehouse at all. I have just my house. I have the spare room here and a little bit of room in the other rooms and places around the house. Also, there's a small shed outside, but it's full of stuff also. So when it comes to room, I'm not going to go out and rent a building to do this. So if you can just know that, don't expect that. I'm not going to go and get a building somewhere or get it, and grow the operation that way. And if this grows and grows and grows and gets to the point where I'm making the money to afford that, it pays for itself, possibly, maybe at that point I'll consider it and what that would look like. But right now it's not. So it's just an operation that I do out of my home. So don't expect, like to see videos of me walking through a huge room, warehouse, storage building, whatever it is, and seeing racks and inventory. It's not my operation. It's not what I'm doing, and I'm not there. I'm not at that level of reselling, and also I'm just not there in this season of my life. I don't have extra money to just go and those racks. I mean, they're nice, but I think the cheapest I saw online was like $50 a piece, and buying several of those, you're spending a couple $100 already on, and you haven't even made the money to pay for that yet. Because in my operation, and I'm still growing, and I've been reselling for a little while, but it's been part-time, and it's been around other things, other obligations that I have in my life with work and everything else. So this year, we're in 2024 now. In January, I told myself in 2024 I really want to focus on this. Since I started up until now, from for the first part of this journey, it's been very, very slow. Matter of me being able to actually list the items, go through the items, things like that. It's just been something that it's been put on the back burner. I moved, I bought a house, so all that stuff has kind of delayed this, and it's been a very slow going process in the beginning, as far as getting things listed and all that kind of stuff. So my goal this year, and this is why I'm starting the YouTube channel, because I want it all to be tied together. I understand in the beginning, if you're watching this video, here in the beginning, pretty recently to when it comes out, the channel is very small. I mean, that's when you start YouTube, that's just how you do it. I mean, you start with no subscribers, then 1 subscriber, then 10 subscribers, and 100. It just, you have to start somewhere. So this is the start. So if you're watching this right now, or sometime close to when this video comes out, then the channel is brand new. You're even the engagement, if you come from maybe one of my sites where I'm selling on, and you're engaging with me in the comments about other items or things like that, then the community is very small. It's going to look a lot different, than hopefully, say by the end of this year, I have goals and things that I want to accomplish, and hopefully by then the community will be larger. I'll have more followers. The video will be seen by more people, so the engagement will grow. So that's my goal. I don't know how big this is going to get. I mean, obviously I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to work with what I have. That's kind of what you do in life. You do the best with what God gave you. And I'm hoping that, the community grows and I gain a bunch of followers, and, my channel explodes. But I kind of researched it a little bit, just curious, about how to expect your channel to grow. And I've seen various, people talk about what to expect from your channel. I've seen some people that say you can, go for a year and really not even, grow hardly at all, just a very incremental growth. And then I've heard from people say that you can start out and then, something happened, maybe one of your videos goes viral, whatever, and then, you explode, and then, everybody shares and their friends share, and then you just, within 6 months, you're a pretty good sized YouTube channel. So I do realize what causes that or what drives that is the value out of the videos. So my goal is to, obviously, when you're watching this, I want you to be enjoying it. I want to entertain you, and I want to, make this something that's pleasurable for you to watch, but also informative. I know that getting something out of it, information, that you can use and apply it to your own situation. Like I said, if you're a reseller or someone's interested in reselling, but hopefully this will be able to be that for everybody, something you can get out of it, whether it's just watching YouTube, which I do a lot. That's one of my primary, if not the primary way that I actually watch entertainment in the evenings or whatever. YouTube has become like TV for me, so I love YouTube, and I've been wanting to do this, but like I said before, this is kind of the culmination. 2024, I'm gonna start. So welcome to my channel, and let's kind of get started. So when I started reselling, I had a friend. This was back during COVID, so it's been, I can't believe it, but we just got into 24. It's already, moving into the fourth year since COVID. Seems like time has flown by. It doesn't seem like it's been that long ago, but so when that happened, everything kind of changed as far as some people's, the place you were working actually ceased operations. If you were considered essential, you kept going to work and you were able to do your job. But some places, like where I worked, we have days where we're at the office together. So those days were basically shifted into home days. So you do your paperwork and your office work from home. If it's a field day, we go and we meet at the office. We go out, we do what we need to do. If it's a day where we're working on paperwork, we work from home. So when that first happened, being home, it was kind of a new experience to me, instead of going into the office and working on my paperwork. And one evening when I got finished, I clocked out and everything, I was sitting there and I just decided to, at this point, I know I just told you that I watch YouTube a lot. YouTube is my TV pretty much. At that time, that was not the case. I knew what YouTube was. I knew it was a platform people posted videos, but I didn't really know a lot about it. I wasn't, wasn't somebody who desired to be a YouTuber. I didn't even really know what that was, per se. Like I said, I knew people were making videos, but I didn't know about the YouTube world and starting a channel and becoming a YouTuber and all that. I just kind of figured it was something that people did as a hobby, and then kind of like when you went to any other social media and you saw a little clip or a video that somebody put on there, somebody slipped and fell or whatever, just something funny, or if you wanted to learn how to do something, somebody made a little video or something. But so as I got into watching, because I like I said, it was in the evening, now I was home, so I would just already be on the computer. So, kind of surf and watch a video, and I came across YouTube. And at the time, one of the videos that popped up was a reselling video. It was someone who, was going out buying things at, thrift stores, garage sales, flea markets, things like that, and getting online and selling those items on eBay. So I kind of decided, hey, I want to do that. I want to try that. I've always I knew what eBay was. I really wasn't familiar with a lot of the other platforms you can sell on. And like I said, I'll sell on eBay and Etsy. I realize there's other platforms. I've thought about maybe getting into those, but right now it's just eBay and Etsy for me. So I knew what eBay was. The only experience I'd ever had with eBay was, I don't even know what year this was. It was, probably early 2000s. I remember kind of my first experience getting on eBay and, seeing what it was all about. And it was a bid for an item that I wanted. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want that. And so I put all my information in, to where I can bid and buy. And I bid on the item, but it was like a couple of days. It wasn't like it wasn't the end of the auction. It was like a 2 or 3 day auction. But when I bid on it, So I said, oh, I got to come back and check on this, and when I came and checked on it, the item, when it came down to its like final time before the auction would be over, to see if I was, if I still had the bid, because if it was low enough, I was going to bid again and whatever, and just so I could still get the item. And literally, like seconds left on the clock, somebody swooped in. I thought I had it, and somebody swooped in and got it. So that was my only experience with eBay. I really didn't know anything about anything to do with becoming a reseller and using it as a platform like that. So I was home and I kind of started watching that reseller. I kind of started watching more of his videos and started following him. And I started learning, like what he was doing and how he was sourcing items and and kind of the process of getting it, listing, and all that kind of stuff. So I went with a friend of mine who he still goes to auctions, but I used to go with him, and I had never been to an auction before. But he would go to auctions and he would buy anything old metal. He was anything that was farm equipment, farm decor, just kitchenware, utensils, anything was old and metal. He loved it. He collected old lunch boxes, the tin lunch boxes. So he would go all the time to these auctions, and I would go with him, and one weekend that I went with him to one of those auctions, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna buy something tonight. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna sign up, get a little card and and something cheap, and I can, if it goes for cheap, nobody really wants it, but I think it's something cool. I can try to flip it, just see how it works, So I went, and there was really nothing I saw. The auction was going for a while. I was like, none of this stuff is things I thought there would be something maybe kind of small or something easy to ship, or something that I felt maybe would sell well. And the auction went on, and eventually there's a part where you're outside, and there's a bunch of things that their auctioneer's going through. And then he moved to the inside area. It's like a covered area, and there was a huge lot of stuff, which was like 4 tables. And I'm not sure, because the auctioneer, the way it works is, if you had things to sell, I guess you go ahead of time and to that auction, and I don't know the process, but they sell your items for you. So I don't really know how that works, whether they tell them, this is what I want for this item or whatever, up in the auction block up there where he's at. I don't know if he has a paper that tells him each item, but this was like a row of 4 of those fold out white tables, like if you had a garage sale, those type of tables. And he started like not item by item, but just an item here, an item there, and nobody was biting on anything. He kept going. He moved it down, and went to this item and that item. Nobody was bidding on anything. So he was like, "Hey, all 4 tables, the whole row of stuff, everything, all in one big lot." And I don't even remember what he started out at, but I was thinking, wow, that's a lot of stuff. And it wasn't very much that he was asking, when he first started, but he just kept lowering it and lowering it. Nobody was biting. So eventually he got down to like a really low number, and I was like, raised my hand. I was like, I'll take it. I'm here to try this anyway. For as much stuff as he has there, for the amount of money he's wanting, I should be able to sell these things and make some kind of profit. Didn't realize at the time what I was really doing. Trying to fit all that stuff in my truck was hilarious, because I did not plan on buying that much stuff. Like I said, I wanted to buy 1 or 2 things, but it took a lot of boxes. The back of the truck was full, the back seat. My buddy was laughing at me the whole way home. But I went to a couple other auctions with him, and I did the same thing. I did that again, where I bought another huge lot of stuff. I also went to a garage sale, kind of bought a bunch of stuff. And garage sale, it wasn't like a lot of stuff. Like, it wasn't like the person said, okay, all this stuff here, I'm gonna put in one big lot. It was, I bought a bunch of different items, and so accumulated, a bunch of stuff from that garage sale. I went to flea markets. I went to little thrift shops. So I was watching these videos, and I'm like, I'm sourcing now, Okay, and here comes in the title of the video, what not to do when you're first starting out reselling is that, what I did. I just kept sourcing and sourcing and sourcing. I hadn't even listed my first item yet. I was kind of like on a euphoric high of just going out and buying stuff. And there was boxes piling up. The place I was living at the time, I had like very little room um, to store stuff. And I mean, it was just, things were piling up really fast. Even now, like, now that I'm in my house and, I've got spare room and I've got it's still a lot. So I've got, the stuff you see behind me, like I said, it's the staging area. There's more. There's boxes and boxes of other stuff. And when it comes to what type of items they are, I really can't give you like, it's this category, or it's all over the place. I mean, especially those auction lots. I mean, those tables were anything from antique glassware to farm decor to plates and whatever, kitchen items. I mean, toys. I can't even tell you all what kind of stuff it was. It was just a bunch of stuff. So in the garage sales that I went to, in the flea markets, I could be a little bit more specific, but some of the things I picked up there were also like some of the same kind of deal, where it was like something in this category, something here, something vintage, cool, glassware over here, or some little set of plates, or an old toy, or something else, just random stuff. So I'm not one of those resellers who focuses in on one particular kind of item, like just baseball cards or just shoes or anything like that. The stuff that I have and the stuff that I sell is variety, and it's so many different categories. I wouldn't even know where to start to explain to you, what type of items that I have. They're all over the place. So that's what I did in the beginning, and it's not a very good way to start out. And I'll explain to you why. When you're first starting out, I don't know everybody's situation. Maybe you're in a situation where you have a lot of extra room right now. You have a huge access, access to a building or a big, storage unit or something. You have some areas that you can fit a lot of stuff in and not be overwhelmed. And if that's the case, then I guess you could kind of do this, but I still would recommend doing it a little different than what I did. Because like I said, when I first started, I was watching the videos, like I would watch a video, and then that weekend I would go and, in the buying, sourcing, mode, and just started buying stuff. In the beginning, you need to focus on learning how to not only research the item, because you need to know what it is you have that way before you can explain it in your listing, but also research the area it came from, all that kind of stuff, and what it's going for online. And when you're first starting out, or even if you've been reselling for a while, and if you watch there's a bunch of resellers out there, and they have a bunch of channels, and you can watch them, and you'll hear this, especially if they're kind of telling you about how to resell, or mentioning anything like that. You'll hear this a lot. Be selective in the stuff you're buying, and that's a mistake I made, especially with the huge lot of stuff. I had no idea what was even in there. So when you're out and you see something and it looks cool, if you're thinking, I can buy that, it's only $5, I can sell it for $20, whatever. Before you buy it, when you're in the store, flea market, garage sale, whatever it is, just take a minute, look for the item that on whatever platform that you want to sell on. Look for it and see what people are buying it for. The eBay has a great tool where you can see not only when you type in the item, you can see say it's some kind of whatever. It's how many people have it listed. To show you that in the search results. People, you can see the condition versus the one you have, all that kind of stuff. But then there's a little tab to the left where you can filter from your item. If from there's different things you can filter. One of them down towards the bottom of the filter area is sold. And you check that box, and it'll tell you what the item is actually selling for. So everyone who's bought that item, you can see the prices. So you can also see, versus how many people are buying it versus how many people are, have it listed. So if thousands of people have it listed, similar item to what you're looking at, but it's only had 10 people, bought one recently, and it'll show you the date when it was bought. It's probably not an item that you're going to want to pick up. It may be a cool item unless it's for yourself, but it may take a while to move. There's a bunch of that item, a bunch of people have that item, and they have it listed. So it's not selling that great. So that's called the sell-through rate. So you want to check the sell-through rate when you're out at whatever venue you go to. If you're someone that's just selling stuff around your house, you're trying to get rid of stuff, it's a little different. The stuff's already there. It already has a place to live. So you're not having to make room for new stuff. But if you're going out sourcing and you're going to be bringing more stuff into, your living space to store or wherever, if you have a warehouse and all that, that's great. But everything you add to it, you now reduce the amount of space you have for other things. So you want to be selective as far as what you decide to pick up. I did not do that. Like I said, I bought a bunch of stuff, and then I was like, I need to start listing this stuff. So then I got into, actually, creating my sites, listing, really focusing on how to, research the items and, better ways to take pictures. There's all these videos out there where you can learn cool stuff. And being a part-time reseller like I am, when I'm watching videos, I would see someone who had huge photo booth or some kind of, really professional looking, awesome backdrop. And yeah, that would be awesome to have. That's not realistic. Like I said, I'm not going to go and I already spent the money in the beginning on sourcing the stuff, and I bought a few things here and there that I needed, but I'm not going to go on this buying spree where everything that would be nice to have or everything that I would love to have, I'm not put myself in debt over stuff that I'm trying to build something. So as it builds, then if there's something I have my eye on, I'll sell stuff and make the money, then I'll buy that. So that's what it looks like for me. It may look different for you. You may be out there and you're like, okay, I have the space, I have the money, I'm ready to get started. And if that's the case, then I can recommend stuff to you that I've seen. If you guys have questions like, hey, what should I do here or there, I can tell you what I've seen and what I've seen other YouTubers and resellers that are doing. And you can go out and get all this stuff and just, spend a bunch of money in the very beginning and then, start that way, start big. But what I recommend is, especially if you're kind of more in my boat, you're wanting to do this, you're wanting to, even if you want to do it full time, you don't just make this your full time, venture. Still in the beginning, you need to be careful about how you're spending your money and make sure it's, you're getting good items to list and sell, but also when you're buying things, you're going to need, just maybe still leave yourself some room, if you're, like I said, if you're kind of where I am in a season in your life where you don't really have that extra income to do that kind of stuff with. Just, be specific about what you're picking up. Make sure, look the item up before you buy it. Make sure versus how many people have it listed, how many people have actually bought the item. I know, realize on some platforms, if you're selling on something else besides eBay, I don't know if some of the other ones do. I know Etsy, you can find out on Etsy, but it doesn't have the same kind of thing as YouTube does, where it has a drop down and you can search the item, then you can search for the sold, how many people bought that item. Etsy, you can look at other stores that have them. It will show you even those items are not available anymore. When you go to click on them, it'll tell you that it's not available. So, but you can look at those stores. If you see similar items, maybe that's their niche, then you can kind of look through, there's like underneath their name, it says sales, and you can see kind of, okay, these are the items that's selling, and versus these are the items that still they have listed on in their store. So give you a rough maybe estimate of what they were selling for. I know it's not exact, but if you see the same type of item listed, that you can probably infer that they're selling that type of item for around the same price, especially if you see it across the board for that same item, and it's generally marked within that area somewhere, so you can kind of figure out what they're charging for it. eBay does have that nice tool, but some of the other platforms might too. I don't know if they do that or not. I haven't really done a whole bunch of research on some of the other places where you can resell stuff online, but just when you're starting out, I encourage you to watch videos of other people who are doing it. There's a lot of great resellers out there, and I learned a lot. I still watch the reselling videos, and I'm constantly learning. You can learn what kind of equipment to get. You can learn just about staging and how to set up your system. So like whenever especially like if you're wanting to do this full time and turn this into like a big operation, think about a big business like a department store, something like that. They have huge warehouses. How do they store their inventory? How do they find their inventory with something? You have to think about that kind of stuff. In the beginning, it may be not something you're thinking about, but as you accumulate stuff, and regardless of what size your business becomes, you're gonna have stuff that you're storing somewhere, and you need to have a system in place where you can go and I'm looking for this item. So you're not, especially if it's like if you have some kind of big warehouse or something, you're not roaming through there looking for an item for 30 minutes. So there's videos where you can learn that kind of stuff. I can explain to y'all in my videos ways to do things, like when I watch videos like that. Even though I may not be doing some of those things, my operation's a lot smaller at this point. So, but I can still give you information that I've learned from watching the videos. If that's something that you want to know more about, any of the topics when it comes to reselling, whether it's sourcing, taking pictures, maybe creating a little area to take pictures, ways of storing your item, the inventory, things like that. Whatever questions you have, feel free, engage with me in the comments, ask me questions. So when I make new videos, I can address these things. I mean, I can also, interact in the comment section, but I can make videos if you guys want to see certain things or stuff like that. So what to expect in the videos coming, in the future from my channel. I understand there's a lot of resellers out there who are making sourcing videos, and when I say sourcing videos, they're taking their GoPros or their phones or whatever it is. They have some different recording device, and they're bringing you with them out in public, whether it's flea markets, Salvation Army, Goodwill, garage sales, estate sales, wherever, and there's you're kind of there with them as they're buying stuff. They're sourcing for new items. My videos are not going to be sourcing videos, at least not right now. Like I said earlier, I overwhelmed myself in the beginning by buying a lot of stuff. So I need to work through this and sell the stuff I have. If that's something you guys are really interested in seeing, if that's something that the vast majority of people want out of the videos, then I will do that at some point. But I have to make room, and I have to actually get the stuff I have now listed and sold. If you're watching this, and you're coming from one of my stores, just know that like I said, this staging area behind me, there's a lot more stuff that I don't have here. That this is kind of an area, I call it a staging area because it's stuff that needs listing, and as I list something, I'll highlight a few things in some of the videos. But once like this item here, and I'll do a couple here in a second for you that I know that I have ready to go, but then they'll be listed, and then they move to another staging area where they're ready to go. So once they sell, so they won't be back here anymore, then I'll just resupply the staging area behind me. But also what these videos are not going to be is what sold videos. So, and it's not that I won't ever, mention, hey, look, this item I picked up here, remember this or whatever, and this item sold. It's not that I won't ever show anything that's sold. It's just it's not going to be a video like, you can watch some YouTubers out there that are resellers, and you watch their channel and it's pretty much just what they sold. They're just going through each item, and some of them source and maybe make videos as well. But I've also seen other channels where it's strictly, you never see them do anything else except what sold videos. And there's just, that's from beginning to end, they're showing you items that they sold. Like I said, it's not that I won't ever show an item, or maybe it's something that was in a previous video and then it sold. And if it, like I said, if some of the questions you guys have pertain to that kind of stuff, once an item sells, how do you do it? I want to see that part of it. Okay, then I'll do that. I'll make the video, and you'll see. Okay, this sold. This is from time it sells to getting it out. This is how I do it. That's going to change because, like I said in the beginning, this was a slow process, dipping my toe in the water, and it has been since it started. Mainly because of the time. Like I said, I have a full-time job, so doing this as I can, getting items listed, and researching them, all that kind of stuff. All that looks a lot different than I've realized than some resellers and some of the videos you're going to watch out there. But like I said, this is just kind of where I am as a reseller, and in the future I do hope to get to the point where my operation it's bigger and it's moving a lot better than it is now. I'm listing and I'm working through stuff and all that kind of stuff. But I don't plan on leaving my job. Regardless of how big this is, I don't anticipate ever, walking away from my career to do this full time. I would like to grow it to where, my time is spent maybe equally, but I don't have any plans to make this like a full-time gig to where like this is the only thing I do. So just know that going into it. As far as the sourcing goes, I realize that some of you guys are, when it comes to videos and you're watching them to, I don't know what kind of items to get, or I want to watch videos where people are actually going out and accumulate more items so I can see, what they're buying, because obviously if they're reselling, they know what to buy. So the things I already have, like the huge death pile, even like some of this stuff back here, the tables. If that's what you're looking for, then, like I said, the sourcing part of it, for right now in these videos, it'll just be, you can still learn, like I said, if you're out there trying to learn what to get, because like I said, if I show you something in the video and then it posted and everything, and then you guys are curious, hey, what's selling? What have you sold lately? And I go through that. This huge death pile I have is pretty much the same as someone going out sourcing. The only difference is there's other items that you're gonna see that you'll know to, hey, maybe this item is taking a long time to sell, or it's not a fast moving item. So, and it won't be an all-in-one video. It'll be, I understand you'll have to, watch in the future and see, but you can learn that. You can learn, okay, I remember when this one video you showed this, and then, it took a while, but it sold. That's, that's kind of the way you can learn when you're watching my videos is, this item that I have here sold right away, or something like, okay, and then you'll know that's a good item to go out, and that type of item is selling good, so pick up those type of items. But I know, and like I said, when I watch a lot of resellers and their videos, so I know what type of items, if you want to call them hot items or however you want to classify them, they're fast movers, that they're trendy right now. But I'm just not in that sourcing mode. That's not where I am right now. So right now I'm in the mode to where I'm working through a death pile. I need to get rid of and move out inventory that I have I have no more room. like I said, this is the staging area. I have here, and then other places there, but I don't have the huge operation. So that is something that maybe in the future, as I grow, I would love to do that. But right now, that's not something you're going to see. So also, before I wrap up, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Like I said, that I have being listed. I know they're going to be going live here in a little bit. And this is more, I guess, for the people who are coming from my selling platforms. If you ever see anything back here in the staging area, something catches your eye, and you're like, hey, I want that, whatever it is, feel free, please, in the comments, mention it to me. Hey, whatever, can you list this one or whatever, want more information about it, whatever it is. There's no order. I don't have any kind of, okay, this item's next. It's a staging area. I'm grabbing stuff. I'm fitting it into a box. I'm researching. I'm doing all that kind of stuff. And I'm just randomly going through. So if you see something and you're interested in it, communicate. Let me know in the comments, and I can expedite that item. I can get it out. I can, we can come up with it'll actually be you, just kind of getting the item before it goes live. So, we can communicate here and, work out a price and everything, figure out, what I need to get out of it and what you're wanting to spend on it. And you can get the item before anybody ever even has a chance to bid against you or anything like that, on the site. So that's a bonus you can, get out of watching my videos, is to see other stuff that it's not available yet or hasn't been listed yet. Like I said, I know there's, this thing right here, this is about to go live. I've got the listing ready to go. So this item here is it's a shelf sitter, is what they call these online. I don't know if you can see like the shape of it. It goes, the back, and then it pokes out here, and then it goes flat here. So the majority of this feels like it's filled, like the body, like the legs and the arms, some type of material, like a pillow would have in it, something soft. The bottom here is different. It feels like, it's not sand, but it, like little beads, maybe, little plastic, but it's heavier. And so it can actually sit on the edge of a shelf, kind of like where I had it there. It's a frog. You can see the frog. It's a frog, and it has like a pair of overalls on that has like a pink flowers, roses, I think. Yeah, it looks like pink roses on it. Has a white shirt underneath the overalls. The hat, it's like a little country style hat, like a straw hat. It's more, I don't know what type of material that, some type of wicker, I don't know whatever that is they made the hat out of, but it's kind of indicative of like a country person wearing a straw hat, but I'm not sure exactly what that is. But there is a couple of strands of this white. I don't know if you can see that. Try to get closer for you guys, but you can see those. So right there at the top, that's woven. That's like sewn together. There's like different levels to the hat. So that's what's holding it together. At the top here, it's just hanging loose. I'm not sure if that, right here in the top, you can see there, it's like an indentation. So it's kind of like it came apart right there. Doesn't really look terrible. Especially for like an old country hat, if you would, imagine that somebody who, wear an old straw hat, something like that in the top is not really going to be an issue. But that's just, I just want to kind of disclose that to whoever's interested in that. It looks like some of this, like I said, it's like a white yarn or whatever it is they use to make this. I don't know when it was made. There the group of items that I got this in, everything that I was able to research and find year it was of make, most of the stuff was like 80s, 90s. So I'm assuming that's where this comes from. I don't really, it doesn't have any kind of tag on it. The maker, I don't know who made it. It looks to me like somebody handmade it, but I don't know that for sure. It's held on with glue, like the clothes to the body here, clothes in the back, and there's also, you know, the clothes obviously have been sewn, but there's places where the body of the frog, you know, where it meets clothing or something else, like here, and you know, the hat itself, it's super glue. So it's super glue and stitching, and then, like I said, the whatever's inside here, whatever this is that gives it that shelf sitting ability. I'm not sure what that is. I'm not even sure if it's just a bean bag or something. I don't know what's in there, but to find out, it doesn't have a way to take off the clothing other than destroying the glue that's holding it together, or the people who made it, whoever made it, just made it to the clothes to be on, you know, not to change them out or anything like that. Not like a Barbie doll. That's just the way it was made. If there was some kind of identifying tag or anything underneath the clothes, I don't know how you would get to it without destroying the item, or causing the item damage that you would then have to repair just to find. I don't think there's any tag on it anywhere underneath there, but if there is, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to tear open the clothing and all that just to look, and so I don't know who made it. I don't know where it came from. I think someone handmade it, but I'm not really sure. And I believe, I don't know, I have to check. I believe this is from kind of what I saw online. I looked up. I didn't see this exact one. I saw similar plush. There was like a shelf sitting type plush, and I kind of based my price on what I saw, and I think this is like 15. I think that's what I'm asking, because there were some that were more, there were some that were less, and I just kind of found a middle ground. Like I said, I don't know anything about it other than obviously the same thing that you can see just looking at it, whatever that it is. Other than that, I don't know who made it, anything like that. The eyes are, I don't know if you can see those, but they're just like marble. It looks like, or I don't know exactly. Never really made anything like that before. That's like the eyeball, but like the bigger part of the eye, that's the same material. It's just cloth of some type. Almost, to me, it reminds me of like a pillowcase, but it's green actually as a frog. So that item there is going to be going live. What else? By the time this video comes out, that'll be listed. That'll be ready to go. Also, this Kabu bag, I know that I have this one ready to go as well. I'm going to be finalizing these tonight. So I've seen a lot of resellers out there. When I watched the videos that were out wherever in public, at a estate sale or flea market or wherever, and Kabu bags were popular. Like I've seen a lot of resellers say, these are good selling bags. I could not find this particular one. Some very similar. I found some red ones like this, and upon researching, I believe has the strap from about there to there. I'm not sure how many inches that is. I can measure that if that's something you're interested in. The item itself and wanting to know, it does have an adjustable strap, but the ones I researched, I found the red one like this, but I didn't find any with the same band pattern. There were, I guess when they made these, they made a bunch of different patterns. I'm not really sure. So this one has like, to me, I would call that like Indian or like Southwest themed. That's kind of what I see there. It's like a Southwest Indian type theme. So that band, the Kabu label on the front, it has the one pocket up front, and this pocket has one of these little clips in there. It's like a plastic clip. I'm not sure what you would put in there. I don't know if it's for keys or whatever. But the inside of this pocket is also cloth, just like the rest of the bag. And that's like a Velcro front. The zip compartment on the front, inside of there is black, and that material is more like a plastic material. It's not like the cloth inside. So, like if you had something, I'm not sure. I don't carry a purse. I'm not sure. But if you had something going in there that could possibly spill or get in, maybe you wouldn't want to put that in the front pocket. This pocket here. That reminds me of something like a gym bag. Outside of a gym bag or inside of a gym bag or a luggage bag or something that has. So if something did spill in there, it would be easier to wipe up versus the front pocket that has the inside of this cloth. Then on the back here, another Velcro opening on this one. You can see the inside lining, which is basically the back of that front pocket, is that same material, that kind of gym bag or luggage bag, whatever kind of material that lines it. But the other side, the back side of this pocket is that cloth. So again, that might be another pocket to not put something in there. Maybe if you're, like I said, I'm not sure what those pockets are used for, but that's just kind of looking at it. That's what I would think is, things that you're worried about maybe spilling inside the purse or something like that. Go in the bag that has that different lining in there. But it's, from what I saw online, it's called a crossbody shoulder bag. I don't know a lot about bags or purses or anything. I do have a few more purses, but I just, like I said, I kind of research, and that's how I find out what I have, just by looking and seeing what they're called, or the style, matching it to what the one I have. But this is another item that I have going live here shortly after this video. So that's kind of just gives you an idea. Like I said, it's a bunch of random different stuff. I'll pin out the way so you can see just kind of what all type of items I have. Toys, there's pictures, little signs, dolls. There's, on this side over here, if you're into like antique kind of stuff, bunch of old antique stuff. Well, the top side up here were like and have a couple, you can see like the little pandas, the salt and pepper shakers that comes in that little basket, or these other ceramic dishes. I'm not really sure what you would use those. I guess you could use them for whatever you wanted to, jewelry or whatever. All that type of stuff. When I was growing up, my grandmother had a lot of that kind of stuff, and grandma called those things whatnots. She had just a bunch of collectibles. So and I have a bunch of stuff, like I said, in boxes. This is not it. There's a bunch of other stuff. I am going to be selling on Whatnot as well. Something I'm just now starting. I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of getting ready to do that. So like the YouTube and the Whatnot is something that like I'm very new to. I'm just now starting out. So you can, if you're interested in getting on there, maybe, I understand growing the Whatnot is kind of like the YouTube side, as far as from what I've seen, in a little bit of Whatnot that I've watched, and like the becoming a seller and understanding how it works. You have to grow the community type thing. And I realize if you're selling on a platform, any platform, it's kind of the same thing to get people looking at your items, visiting your store. I understand that. but I think it's a little bit different when it comes to like YouTube and whatnot, because there's the engagement aspect of it, but also like for whatnot, it's a live auction, so it's, you know, you can post things on there. From what I understand, they just sit like in your marketplace, but it's also like when you go live and you start an auction, like you started at $1 or whatever, like you go and then the item sells. Like there's no, you know, if you have 4 people in your auction when you first start, if you don't, you know, have a big following and you started something at $1 and one person bid on it, it's sold. That's what it's sold for, you know. So having a bigger following, you know, and I realize there's other auction style sites you can sell on, but I think I'm gonna try Whatnot first. I like Whatnot. Like I said, I've been in a few shows, so I think Whatnot's gonna be, you know, where I make my home as far as the auction type selling. But you know, like in the YouTube side, like I mentioned earlier, you know, in the beginning, like right now, these videos probably won't get a bunch of views. I realize that when you're first starting out, that YouTube's not going to promote your videos because, you know, you're a very small channel. You have very little subscribers, so they're gonna push out videos that are coming from established channels that have a bunch of viewers. So if you guys here in the beginning, if you're watching this and it's very, like I said earlier, pretty close to the time that I'm putting this out, you know, we're in January of 2024. So if you're watching this and, you know, it's still January or February or March, you know, you may see that, hey, you know, this channel is just now starting out. There's not a, you know, big community there. There's, you know, that's just how it goes with YouTube. Like I said before, I'm hoping end of the year to make some progress. I don't know what to tell you as far as what I expect. You know, I have goals, but being that this is different for everyone, and I'm just now starting out, I don't really know yet what's realistic, what to shoot for. I have an idea of what I would like to shoot for, but here in the beginning, it's very important for me to, you know, focus on the people who are watching this, and, you know, you come across my channel, you see this, and you like it. Please engage with me, because in order for me to grow, you know, tell me in the comments. If you didn't like something in the video, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Just tell me, hey, I didn't particularly like this or something. And if that's something that it's a theme, you know, a lot of people are, hey, you know, that's something that I'm not going to do because it's not well received. If there's aspects that you want to see that I'm not covering, let me know so I can make videos about those kinds of things so I can grow, because I realize that you guys are the ones that make this grow. As a YouTuber, it doesn't matter if you sit in front of your camera 24 hours a day and talk about, you know, raindrops falling. It's not going to grow. You don't make it grow. You can do things, you can put in the work to do your best to try to make it grow, but it's people like you watching the videos and sharing the videos, engaging them, giving me a thumbs up. That's how you grow, because you guys are what YouTube pays attention to, the engagement from viewers. So in the beginning, I'm relying on you guys to engage with me and tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. Like I said, if it's a theme that a bunch of people are saying, hey, we want to see sourcing videos, I may have to, you know, sooner than I thought, I may have to go out and do that in order to grow. So I'm going to take all that into consideration. But I do appreciate you stopping by. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you learned kind of what to expect from me and my channel. I hope you had a good time. I hope you know, saw something maybe that you can use to help you out. If, you know, if you're wanting to start reselling, maybe you heard something, some good advice, something. Hope you got something out of it. If here in the beginning, like I said, I as far as what you guys want. When I make a video, I'm gonna focus on a topic. Sometimes that's a shot in the dark because I don't know what the viewers are wanting or thinking. So that engagement will really help a lot. But appreciate y'all for stopping by. And episode 1 is in the books. So see you guys next time.